welcome to another Jasper Rocks tutorial in which together we're going to make a macrame heart hanging. New for Valentine's Day, but will stay as a permanent product in our shop. So you're watching this tutorial on YouTube if you've either found the tutorial by chance or if you've bought our kit, our DIY kit from our online store. If you're yet to make that purchase, head to the link in the description or the link on our main YouTube page here and browse our whole range of DIY kits of both macro and micro macrame hangings and jewellery alike. So with this kit you have the option to choose the colour of the heart as well as the size. We offer two sizes: small, which is made out of 3mm rope, or large, which is made out of 5mm rope. The small only comes in white, but you can either make one heart or a pair of hearts, but the 5mm comes in a choice of 11 and potentially more different colours of the oh so soft bobbiny cord. For a heart, I imagine the most popular colours will be the wild rose or the blush, but there's also the option to make them in the other fantastic range of colours like teal, mint, black, the large white as well. So today I'm going to make with you a 5mm heart in blush, in the pale pink colour. In your craft box you will have everything you need to get started. You will have 8 lengths of long rope, 4 lengths of smaller rope. If it's a 5mm heart, the large heart, they will be 140 centimetres and 110 centimetres. If it's a small 3mm rope heart, they will be 90 centimetres and 70 centimetres per heart. Okay, so they're cut and ready. You will need a pair of scissors, optional to use, they're very helpful, a corkboard and pins to set your heart in the correct shape, and you're ready to go. So from here on I shall refer to the lengths of rope as a long piece or a short piece, because we're working with different thicknesses which result in different lengths. So step 1, take a short piece and find the approximate middle point. Doesn't have to be exact. Take one long piece, fold it over in half, and we're going to do a reverse lark's head knot. So that's the loop end under, bring the loop round over the top and pull the 2 tail lengths through. Hold your horizontal piece as you pull it tight. There we go. With your right tail of that knot, you bring it back up over the top of the horizontal piece underneath. And pull that tight, and do the same with the other side. So the left side over the top, under the horizontal, and pull it through. Hold your horizontal piece to pull it tight. Okay, now you're going to repeat that with another long length piece of string. Loop it in half. Take the loop, place it under in your reverse lark's head knot. Hold the horizontal as you pull it tight. And do the same again. Take the right hand piece, the right hand tail, over and through. Pull that tight. And the left piece over the top and under the horizontal line. Pull it tight. Now what you can do is push those sets of knots together. So you've got 4 tails off your horizontal piece, and then you're going to do a square knot. So for complete newbies, you take the left and lay it across all 3. You then retrieve the right and pull it over, and then this right string goes under and out here. Okay, and pull that, and then naturally as you pull that square knot tight, it will create a nice arc at the top, which is exactly what you want, because this will form one of the semicircles at the top of your heart. But this is just half a square knot. You then repeat with the other side. So right makes a backwards L over the 2 middle, left goes under and through that gap there. You'll soon know if you've done it wrong. It won't pull up like this, a knot over your 2 middle strings properly if you've done it wrong. And then it will look like that. Okay. What you're going to do next is repeat the process again. So take another long length, loop it in half, and then either side, doesn't matter, you do a reverse lark's head knot underneath the horizontal, pull the tails through, hold that top string to allow you to pull it tight. The right tail goes over the top and through the gap. The left tail goes over the top and through the gap. There you go. And push that up to your first arc. And then you're going to repeat it on the other side. So another long length. Just for inventory, having just taken the next longer length of cord, you've got 4 longer length cords remaining. So you loop that in half, under the horizontal, pull the tails through, hold it, leave it there for the moment while we do this bit. Right tail over the top and through that gap you've just created. And the same with the left tail, over the top, through the gap. Okay, push it up to meet your first arc. and set it in a nice circular way. Doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. If you're using a corkboard and pin, feel free to secure it down just to help you with the next knots. Split them in half, so you've got 4 here, 4 there, separate to your horizontal rope. You're going to do another pair of square knots here. So you take your left, go over the middle 2, bring your right up, under there and through the gap. And exactly the same, but mirror image, and pull that tight. And then the same with the other side. You pull the inner strings tight to move the knot up. And there you go. Now that's one of the curves, the upper curves of the heart. And we're going to repeat that process to make the other one. So move this to the side. And take another short length of string, find the approximate middle point and lay as your horizontal. Take a longer length, reverse lark's head knot by having the loop placed underneath and pulling the tails through. Right string up to the top and pull down. And the same with the left. You can pin it here as well, that's helpful. Take another long length. Repeat the process in half, the loop underneath your horizontal knot, right side, over and through the gap, left side, over and through the gap. Push it up to meet the other one. So you've got 4 strings hanging down, and do a square knot. Lift up the outer, left one comes under, right one in this gap there. And the arc begins to form. Same again, but mirror image. Often often your inner two tails will twist. That's okay, it doesn't matter if they twist, but you can untwist them. And take your penultimate longer length, repeat. One set to the left. And finally your last longer length. That's all 8 pieces used now. Loop in half. Reverse lark's head to the right. Right side over and pulled through. Left side over and pulled through. Push it up to meet your main semicircle arc. Give it a bit of a zhuzh. Sorry for my creaky table. It is possible to follow these tutorials with no sound, just with the labels that I write on the image. You don't need my voice if you know what you're doing. Square knot on the left 4. Square knot on the right 4. Make sure that lays flat. It does have a habit of curling under. Okay, now I can pull the middle strings to make the knots a bit tighter. Okay, there you go. So that's your second circular part of the heart done. So what you want to do now is put these two semicircles together so we can begin putting the heart shape together. Any sort of tidying up you want to do of this, feel free to do. Okay, and you can pin it to hold it in place as we work on the heart. Now what you want to do is identify the middle 2 lengths of rope that were your horizontal line of each. Just lift them to the top. But they're not going to be our tie. We're actually going to swap each one with the next length of rope. Okay, you'll see why when it comes to the end. So this middle piece, which is up the top, is now going to be swapped with the next one. Bring that back down, and that one will stay at the top. Same with the section of the right. Swap it. Now this second piece goes under. Swap it with the second. And those ropes now going up will be the tie with which you can hang it on your wall. Okay. First thing we want to do then is secure the two parts together by doing a square knot with the inner 4 pieces. And that holds it nicely together. Okay. You can also place a pin there, right on the bulk of that knot, to hold that in place. The next thing you're going to do is take your penultimate shorter length rope, and we're going to do, as we've done before, a reverse lark's head knot. So loop it in half, and we're going to attach it to give ourselves some more rope to work with on the outer ropes. So underneath, tails are pulled down, hold it to pull it tight, and then just as before, the right tail goes over the top and through the gap. The left tail goes over the top and through the gap. So we've given ourselves 2 extra lines of rope to work with there. Push it up. Repeat on the right side. Now this is your last extra piece of rope. They're all being worked on now. Loop in half, loop side goes under, pull the tails through, the right tail goes over the top and through the gap, left tail goes over the top and through the gap. Push that up and set it so it lays nicely. Next step is to work in some more square knots from left to right. So leaving your initial horizontal piece free, take the next 4 along and do a square knot. Okay, next 4. And you'll find this starts to knit it all together quite well. You're not going to do a square knot here, okay? You're going to skip it. Don't need one there. So just move right on to the penultimate 4. And then the last 4. And the reason you didn't need a square knot here is because at this stage we do a little bit of reshaping to actually open it up a bit so that the knots you've done already make more of a straight line. So as you can see, I'm sort of pushing it together there so that the knots are in a straight line. But with it, I'm making the arcs a bit more curved. Maybe even squashing the tops down a bit. But, you know, it's only as perfect as you want to make it. Handmade joy after all. So if you're happy with the new placement, you can repin it, perhaps one at the top of each arc, at the sides, and in the centre. There you go. Now the next row of knots, we'll start by taking 2 ropes and moving them to the side. You're not going to use those for this row of square knots, so you'll have 3 spare lines on each side. So working from the left, take the next 4 square knot, and you'll see that nicely knits together the square knots from the level just above. That's what we want. All the way across. And your last set of 4 here. Straighten out any inner ropes as you need. So for the next row of knots, bring all the lines down, and to create a continuing row of knots coming down the border of the heart, we're going to do a double half hitch knot over the side. So with this rope held in your hand, you throw this one over the top and pull it through the gap, and then give it a little bit of a helping nudge up so that the knot lies correctly, imitating the line just above it. And you do it again. So this is your holding string, and then you repeat it. Push the knot up, hold it in place, and pull. We're not going to do the other side just yet. We now commence our square knot. So that's 1. Second square knot. Third. Fourth. Before we do the 5th, we're going to do our double half hitch knot on the right side first so that the knots are laying in the correct place before we do this square knot. Okay, so this is your holding string. Your knotting string gets flung over and brought through the gap. It's just a mirror image. Push the knot up to create those crossover lines. So those knots are in the right place now, the strings are in the right place now rather, and you can do your 5th square knot of this row. Okay, definitely taking shape. So we've just done the line which forms the widest part of our heart. Now we're commencing the V shape down to the point. So just like a couple of lines up, we take 3 to the side, and we're not going to use those. And we just commence another line of square knots. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Okay, for the next line down, we take 2 from the sides, move them out of the way, and you do your next row of square knots. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Take 2 more from the sides for your next line. Getting there now. Square knot. That's 1. That's 2. And finally 2 more for the very bottom square knot. Okay, so that's the main bulk of the heart completed. Just got to do something with these. Okay, so what we're going to do now to finish off our heart and create this wonderful thickening border which comes down to the tail is more double half hitch knots. With these knots, you always carry your holding knot in the direction you want your line to go. So take your holding knot, which is the very outer line on the left side, direction it in the direction you want your knots to go, which is down here. And then every single one of these ropes are going to be flung over and double knotted so that this pattern of knots continues down to the bottom of the heart. Okay, let's go. So first one, over the top, through the gap, pull it tight so it just looks like a continuation of all these knots here. 1 and 2. But crucially, because you don't want this to just stay there hanging out, I'm going to pick it up, twist it under a little bit, and your holding knot is going to increase with thickness as you go down. That's why you get this lovely increasing thickness down to the V of the heart, because all these knotted knots, these knotted ropes are collected inside as you go. So pick up the next knotting string, fling it over 2 ropes now that you're holding on to, pull it tight and repeat. Okay. And on you go. I'm holding 3 now. And take care where you place these knots so that the pattern does continue as seamlessly as possible. Really don't pull it tight until you're happy about where the knot will lay. And remember, each length of rope gets knotted round twice. And that way there are no gaps in your border. This double half hitch knot is repeated with every single line. It's quite easy to see underneath the next one. Okay, pick it up, gather it, fling the next one over, pull it tight, repeat. Give it a little bit of a tug so that it does gather underneath, out of sight. I'm sure you're all picking this up. No worries. Can't wait to see all your finished hearts. As always, do hashtag Jasper Rocks Craft Box with all of your makes. So this is the final one. One tail of the final square knot goes on the left side and one tail will go on the right side. Okay, so just move those out the way. Give it a little bit of a zhuzh if you need to. And ready for the right side. So your holding knot is brought down in the direction you're knotting, and you're just doing the mirror image. So each one of these lovely ropes gets flung over and knotted twice. You'll find there'll be naturally one direction of double half hitch knotting that you're better at. and then you can just jiggle it around a bit so that they both meet equally, all your tails. Next thing I'm going to do is take it away from the pin board, see if there's any bits that need reshaping, just make it more of a heart shape. And then before I wrap the tail, I'm going to secure the hanging threads. So just turn it over and do a normal double knot. So right over left, left over right. That way it will still lie quite flat to the wall. And then, however long you'd like the hanging string to be, you can design this as you wish. Knot. And cut. Discard those. There you go, it's ready to hang. But let's tidy up the tail. You don't need the pin board anymore. So also in your kit, you'll just get a random length cut off. This will allow you to wrap the tails together so they look neat. And how you do this is you turn it over, you make a loop at the bottom, or let's say up to 10 centimeters, and then you hold it. I hope you can see this clearly. You hold it down so that the loop is at the bottom and your thumb there is about in the middle of where the loop goes down, where the end of it comes up to. You take the long end as tightly as you can, but with still holding this loop in place. You wrap it. Three or four times, and then with the end of that offcut, you put it through the loop at the bottom, and with the bit at the top, you pull. Now this loop will bring the end of your wrapped rope up and under the wrap that you've just done. This is called a wrapping knot. Okay, don't pull it too much, you just want that knot to be hidden underneath. Okay, so at the front it looks really neat. You can push up the knot by pulling down all the bits inside. I haven't done that as close as I've done the other ones. I'm sure you will. Okay, just spend some time pulling the tails down so that the wrapping knot is as close to your heart border as possible. If you've not done it very well like me. Okay. And then you can just cut. Don't worry about the ends falling out, just cut close. See, that was that short tail there. Cut close, they'll stay put, don't worry. And now it's up to you how long you'd like your heart tail to be, your heart tassel. I think a good guide is about the length of the heart, not too short. So with sharp scissors, cut the excess, discard those, and then it's up to you whether you'd like a combed out tassel, like I did with this red heart, or just leaving it like that as strings, which it looks equally good, like I did with the white ones. The choice is yours. To brush it out, you can literally use any of your household combs or brushes. I often use a mix of a tangle teaser and then a wide tooth comb and then a more fine tooth comb. So you can do as little or as much as you like of that. And then finish with another little cut just to tidy it up. And there you go. Macramé heart wall hangings in a range of colours and in 2 different sizes. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial and you're pleased with your macrame heart ready to hang on the wall. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and this video, and to go and check out our other kits available. We'll see you again for the next one. Bye!